Greetings, book lovers. Welcome to another episode of Michael Romeo Talks Books. Today, I am getting ready for Spooky October. Back before BookTube, I never paid any attention to Halloween, really. But for some reason, I've gotten caught up in October is spooky month for reading. And that's fine, because I do enjoy a good spooky book. And I'm ready for October this year, because I have picked out 10, no, not how many did I pick out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books that I hope to get read in the month of October. Now, I'm not a fast reader, but I have retired, so I do have more time to read. So there's a possibility I can actually do 7 reasonably sized books in 1 month. We're going to find out. I may not get to them all, but I'm going to try. So, without further ado, let's talk about the books that I am planning to read. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the description on BookTube, because I have these, I believe most of them are ebooks, but I've got a couple of them up there ready. But I'm just going to do the little graphic and read you the description on Goodreads for these particular books. So the first one is a book I've heard a lot about, and I'm looking forward to diving into it. I've been a fan of Robert McCammon since I was a teenager, but this is one of his books I just never gotten around to reading. And it's a book called Boy's Life. And according to Goodreads, which probably comes from the cover of the book, it says, it's 1964 in idyllic Zafrón, Alabama. People either work for the paper mill up the Tecumseh River or for the local dairy. It's a simple life, but it stirs the impressionable imagination of 12-year-old aspiring writer Corey Mackinson. He's certain he's sensed spirits whispering in the churchyard. He's heard of the weird bootleggers who lurk in the dark outside of town. He's seen a flood leave Main Street crawling with snakes. Corey thrills to all of it as only a young boy can. Then one morning, while accompanying his father on his milk route, he sees a car careen off the road and slowly sink into fathomless Saxon's Lake. His father dives into the icy water to rescue the driver and finds a beaten corpse, naked and handcuffed to the steering wheel, a copper wire tightened around the stranger's neck. In time, the townsfolk seem to forget all about the unsolved murder, but Corey and his father can't. Their search for the truth is a journey into a world where innocence and evil collide. What lies before them is the stuff of fear and awe, magic and madness, fantasy and reality. As Corey wades into the deep end of Zephyr and all its mysteries, he'll discover that while the pleasures of childish things fade away, growing up can be a strange ride. So, coming of age story, which I knew about it, in which creepy things happen. And Robert McCammon, if you've never read him, he is a wonderful author when it comes to the horror genre. He knows how to do suspense. He builds believable characters. The plots are rapid fire. His books are really fast reads. Even his super mega thick book, Swan Song, was a fast read. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to Boy's Life. That's the first one. The second one is The Night of the Moonbow by Thomas Tryon, another author that I love. I've read a lot of his books. There's only this one and a couple of others that he wrote that were historical novels that I haven't read yet. But his horror novels are truly chilling. He wrote The Other, and he also wrote a book called Harvest Home, both of which will raise the hair on the back of your neck. And in this one, this is a real short description, It says, in this spellbinding novel of idyllic childhoods torn apart by the blossoming terror of child pitted against child, Tryon spins a tale of the hidden horrors that lurk behind children's innocence and an inevitable explosion of evil. So it sounds like he's going back to a similar theme as to what he used in The Other, which was a phenomenal book. I've read that book several times, and it just gets better with each reading. It is a horror genre classic, so I'm really looking forward to tucking this one in. Night of the Moonbow. And next up, got Little Heaven by Nick Cutter. I've read one other Nick Cutter book, and I'm drawing a blank on the title off the top of my head, but it was really good. It was about a group of scouts who go to have a camp out on an island off the coast of Canada, and the weird things that happen. It was a really good suspenseful book. In this one, Little Heaven, a trio of mismatched mercenaries, Micah Shagru, Minerva Atwater, and Ebenezer Elkins, colloquially known as the Englishmen, is hired by young Ellen Belhaven for a deceptively simple task. Check in on her nephew, who may have been taken against his will to a remote New Mexico backwoods settlement called Little Heaven, where a clandestine religious cult holds sway. But shortly after they arrive, things begin to turn ominous. There are stirrings in the woods and over the treetops, and above all else, the brooding shape of a monolith known as the Black Rock casts its terrible pall. Paranoia and distrust soon grip the settlement. Escape routes are gradually cut off as events spiral toward madness. Hell, or the closest thing to it, invades Little Heaven. All present here are now forced to take a stand and fight back, but whatever has set its dark eye on Little Heaven is marshaling its powers, and it wants them all. That sounds good and creepy. And next up, is a book that I've heard a lot about. A lot of people have raved about this book. It's called The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. And this description says, seamlessly blending classic horror and a dramatic narrative with sharp social commentary, The Only Good Indians follows 4 American Indian men after a disturbing event from their youth puts them in a desperate struggle for their lives. Tracked by an entity bent on revenge, these childhood friends are helpless as the culture and traditions they left behind catch up to them in a violent, vengeful way. Again, it's gotten great reviews, and everybody I know on BookTube who's read it has liked it. Of course, if you read it and you didn't like it, feel free to let me know in the comments, because, who knows. And next up, a book called The Prince of Mist by Carlos Ruiz Zafrón. And I got this book from an article that I read on, I think it was last year, on the scariest books ever written. And this is a book, it's translated from the Spanish, but I'm not sure what country it's originating in. And it just sounds really creepy. It says, a mysterious house harbors an unimaginable secret. It's wartime, and the Carver family decides to leave the capital where they live and move to a small coastal village where they've recently bought a home. But from the minute they cross the threshold, strange things begin to happen. In that mysterious house there still lurks the spirit of Jacob, the previous owner's son who died by drowning. With the help of their new friend Roland, Max and Alicia Carver begin to explore the suspicious circumstances of that death and discover the existence of a mysterious being called the Prince of Mist, a diabolical character who has returned from the shadows to collect on a debt from the past. Soon the 3 friends find themselves caught up in an adventure of sunken ships, and an enchanted stone garden which will change their lives forever. Do, do, do. Doesn't that sound good? And next up, classic book, The Haunting of Hill House. I've never read it. It's supposed to be phenomenal. And it's got, if you round it, it's got a 4-star rating on Goodreads. And according to this description, it is the story of 4 seekers who arrive at a notoriously unfriendly pile called Hill House. Dr. Montague, an occult scholar looking for solid evidence of a haunting. Theodora, the light-hearted assistant. Eleanor, a friendless, fragile young woman well acquainted with poltergeists. And Luke, the future heir of Hill House. At first, their stay seems destined to be merely a spooky encounter with the inexplicable phenomenon. But Hill House is gathering its powers, and soon it will choose one of them to make its own. It's going to be a good October. It's going to be a fun October. And then finally, if I still have time, I am going to do a reread of Stephen King's The Shining. And having read this one, I can talk about it instead of just reading a description. It is one of Stephen King's best books, and it is an edge-of-the-seat horror fest about a haunted hotel up in the mountains of Colorado, and the winter caretaker and his family get snowed in, and they just have to deal with the malevolent spirits that inhabit the place. And it's quite a ride. If you've never read The Shining, I highly recommend it. It is Stephen King at his best. So that's my 7 books for the month of October. 7 creepy, hopefully, scary, hopefully, and interesting, hopefully, books for my spooky October reading. Let me know in the comments what if you've read any of these and what you thought of them. And also, what are you planning to read in October for spooky October? Let me know. Maybe I'll add something to the list. And I'll let you know how it all goes as the month of October goes on. I'll let you know how each one was. And that's it. Looking forward to October. It's right smack dab around the corner. Tomorrow, I believe. If I schedule this right, because it's actually, in actuality, it is September 23rd right now. So I'm going to schedule this for a future pop-up on the 30th. So that should be today, if I do it right. So that's it. I'm glad y'all took the time to spend with me. I enjoy doing these episodes, and I love the fact that there are book lovers out there who will listen to me talk about books. And that's it for now. I am going to bid you a spooky, happy Halloween month. Talk to you again soon. Bye.